Thank you for coming to this site. I'm guessing that you want to learn more about helping your kids learn French. And so I want to tell you what, and that's what I have as volume 1 here on this website. It was also, and it's kind of patterned after the way that this really good teacher teaches. So everything is a question with answers. And it's also according to how English speakers think of things and what we want to be able to say, because French and English actually don't go together very well at all. And so I would ask people, well, I would try to say when I was at the grocery store, I would say, how do you say? And they just did not know what I was saying. They just couldn't figure it out. So there's like a lot of phrases, a lot of common phrases in French that they use a lot that will be really helpful for you. And those are included in this book. And so what I found, another reason that I made this book is because there are a lot of books out there. Like this one is pretty good. It has a lot of vocabulary. So it has pictures and vocabulary, which is really good. But how do you say things? And then I highly recommend like this book, First Thousand Words, Usborne. And we've used this a lot for vocabulary. So there's a lot of kids books out there for vocabulary. And then there are also some kids books out there that I've enjoyed too. That are like stories in English and French. And so that's really nice. But, you know, first of all, when you're first learning, you have to have pronunciation because you don't know, you have to hear how it's supposed to be sound because there's no way to guess. So you have to learn that. And then, how do you put the phrases together? And that is what this book is about. So Kids Speak French is about being able to say things. So we learn the conjugations, and then we have a question. Who am I? Qui suis-je? Je suis une fille. Je suis une amie. Je ne suis pas un frère. Okay, so we also have the things that I am and the things that I am not. So we have the positive responses and the negative responses. And I go through that for every person. So now we've got tu. We've got elle, qui est-elle? Qui suis-je for a boy, for a male. So we can see that je suis un frère is different than je suis une sœur. Okay, because we're using different articles for the different stuff. But I don't go into the grammar because I just want the kids to be able to start to recognize the patterns on their own and to be able to say things. And it's okay if they don't say it perfectly, and that is the point of this book. And then, so it's been nice to go through this book with my kids, and we read it, and I'll say, okay, how do you say whatever? I read it in English, and then they say it in French. And then we have a workbook section, which I may make the workbook section separate. At some point, I may add an extra workbook, but that's nice. And then, you know, there and here, it turns out I did this whole page for this, which this does work. This does make it understandable, but in French, actually, it doesn't matter whether you use ici or là. Ici is here, là is there, but you can use either one. Unlike English and unlike Spanish. You know, we here and there, here means right here, and there means over there. So that was confusing to me. Nobody ever seemed to be able to answer that question for me. So I have that in here. And then kind of just common phrases like c'est beau, c'est sympa, very good, c'est joli, c'est mal. Okay. And il y a, there is, there are. So if you could just, if the kids knew how to say, there's a ball. Il y a un ballon. And I also have the negative there too. Il n'y a pas de fleurs. There are no flowers. Il n'y a pas d'arbres. There are no trees. And I had a native French speaker who is also a teacher go over this for me, and she was very thorough, and I'm very grateful. And so that is for the et, and then I also have it for the avoir. And in learning these sentences, they also learn some vocabulary too. You have a nose, tu as un nez. You have a mouth, tu as une bouche. So they can see the tu as stays the same when you're talking about this person. And that's the most important thing. And then with the vocabulary, I have singular, I have masculine, feminine, and plural, which are the three things, so that they can start to see the patterns. And you can do a little bit, you can do a lot, but they'll be able to start putting patterns together. And then, you know, that goes along with all the other stuff, which for kids, it's really good watching shows and playing video games in French and listening to music and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, whatever amount of time you can get them around in the language. For older kids, italki has been fantastic. I have found some great teachers who are really patient and have a lot of fun with them. And so the ones that were further along in their French skills, they didn't have to have the expensive teacher who would go over every little thing, but they just needed practice speaking. And so that's what we did. And so I hope you'll check out this book. I hope you find some good stuff here. And thanks for watching. See you later. Bye. Au revoir.